You want your question to be recorded or not?
It's too late for that.
I should record it.
Oh, okay, go ahead. What's your question?
Go ahead.
If the Eved picks up the Tainug in glory from the Adam, is it possible that it was aroused within him, or was he given it? Did he have this property to begin with and it was aroused, or it was given to him? And if it was given to him, he must have some shaykhs to it. Or is this not a significant question?
No, it's significant to understand, in order to understand the point we're discussing. The fact that he has a possibility of Ayin, we know because he has a Rotzu. A Rotzu is all because he has an Ayin, he has a pursuit. The question over here is something else. The question is that if the Shuv is literally the way we are describing, that there is no personal interest in the Shuv whatsoever. On the contrary, the personal interest is in the Rotz. And he gives it all up. But he realizes that the Rotz and Ha'elin is the Shuv. The Kavan Elin is the Shuv. So if the whole Shuv is due to his subservience and the beetle to the Kavan Eliyana, where is Tainuk come in here? Tainuk is a personal experience.
Mm-hmm.
That is the question we have. Therefore, how can there be a Rotzu following this kind of a Shuv, where there is no personal experience whatsoever? Rotzu means he's pursuing something.
So the next Rotzu is for the sake of so to speak, the Eibishter's timing.
Wait 1 second.
Okay.
Right now we're trying to identify how the Shuv allows for a Rotzu. Once that is identified, then it becomes a regular Rotzu. But how does it allow for Rotzu? If he is completely mivatal his own interests, what remains there that should turn around, that should result in a Rotzu?
How can you get that Tainuk? The way you describe it, it doesn't seem like you...
Okay, so now you're jumping. That is the question.
Okay.
So this, be answering, but let's go inside a little bit.
We're going to go back a little bit?
We can go back if needed.
And what is the mashal of the Eved telling us about the Nimshul? Just particularly.
Okay, let's be going back, okay? Ahu Inim, at the end of the fourth line from the top. On this side. Right, that's what you all want? I agree. No, and this is an extremely subtle Indian. Ahu Indian who? Lehine. Dohavei dohanal. And this Aveda which we just now described, of the Shuv that is resultant exclusively from Beetle to the Kavana Elyena. Let's go back and discuss that slightly to get a sense of what is so different in here. The Rotzer is also, he wants to be with a Lakus. What is so different in this novel twist? And then the novel twist over here is there is the Rotzein and there is the Etzem. Rotzein is something which is identifiable. This is what I want. The Etzem is not identifiable. This is he. This is me. It's not identifiable. There's nothing to latch onto, nothing to identify and to relate to personally.
Well, maybe there's no phone here.
No phone here. You're right. There's no phone here. Not maybe, for sure there's no phone here. Can I borrow somebody's phone, please? My phone is still not...
Give you one? My Sam is not so good. All right.
Abraham? Yeah, we're going to get into the conference. Unfortunately, my phone is not suited for this. Okay, I'm going to get it right away. Akiva, you're getting a sense of Beetle. Instead of saying, there's no phone, you said, maybe there's no phone.
Everything's in question.
All right, we're on, right? Oh, no, not yet.
Still dying.
It's a South African phone. This one takes time.
Mine does the same thing.
At the tone,
Yeah?
please thank you. You are now entering the conference room. To exit the conference room, press ***. For help, press *9. You are participant number 4.
Okay, I'm sorry. All 4. All right, we decided over here that we're going back to review essentially what we learned yesterday. We're starting at the end of the 4th line from the top on page Ayin. And the principle that we are now discussing is that here we said that the shuv, at that point, when the rotzu is to atzmus, then the shuv is not from the rotzu itself, because the rotzu is to atzmus. The shuv is due to the fact that the kavona of atzmus is in the shuv. And I want to take a moment to point out the uniqueness of this situation, of this idea. There's a principal difference between everything and the idea of etzem, atzmos. All kinds of gilui oil, like I said before, and all that. There is a means by which one can relate to it. Atzmus, there is no means by which one to relate to it. In other words, you cannot be yourself and relate to etzem. It's either or. It's either this or that. Back to our guest and host, Moshe. The food and all the amicabilities, this is all nothing. The real thing is the very presence. It's either or, and that cannot be represented by anything. If he's not there, he's not there.
The guests still remain the guests.
The guest is not a guest if there's no host.
But this Indian, you cannot remain yourself and relate.
What?
It was just said you cannot remain yourself and relate to essence.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yes, that's right. He cannot remain himself. There's no personal experience. Remain yourself means personal experience.
But the guests, they give over their personal. They're not.
He doesn't give over. His host, the whole significance of his being there is the host. And the recognition of the host and so forth. That is the real meaning of this get together. Not how good the lunch is, how much kiruv there is. It's the very presence of it. That's why we said that if the host should leave, then everything is stripped of all value. Why? You have the lunch. Because that value cannot be transferred to anything. It's the reality itself. That's what it's. This I mention all the time, whenever we mention that this is the most difficult thing for us to understand, because it doesn't exist in the world. Our moshel for etzem is like a rock. It doesn't say anything. It's just a presence. That's what it says. Like a gashmi is rooted in atzmos. This is why, as we mentioned all the time, when the Rambam refers to this thing, he says, "Amitis himotzoi nimtzu kol hanimtzoim." We discuss this many times, and every time, hopefully, we get a clearer focus on it. Amitis himotzoi means what? Not his presence, but the truth of his presence. His presence is what you already can recognize. Oh, he's here, I see him. Here's what he looks like. Amitis himotzoi is a different aspect. This is something which does not manifest itself. It does not present any presence. It's the pure truth that doesn't have a mitzias. And that is this is the Inyan that ultimately Mitzvah Emes is seeking this etzem. Like we mentioned, the Alter Rebbe, he said, I don't want the Gan Eden, I don't want the Elam Haba. There's nothing I can represent the etzem.
I'm just confused. I thought we said this idea that we don't want the Eibishter alone, we want what the Eibishter wants.
Hold up. Okay, that is the Rotz.
What is the Rotz?
As I'm describing now.
Okay.
Roimumus. What means this comes from the Roimumus? Roimus means supremacy. What supremacy means? Supremacy means there is no way to represent it in the world.
Okay.
There's identity. The pure truth is not like the Imam says. Lo Yisram. This is it. Lo Yisram is lo b'shum mos, lo b'shum kotz. It cannot. There's no remes for it. Huh?
Didn't we say where does a person come off? What
well, one second.
This is the answer already.
That's the
okay, fine.
We'll get to that. That's why we have to review it.
Okay.
We have to get out.
Okay.
This is what's sought after in the Rotzu Tzadoremos. Being that this is what he is seeking, there is nothing remaining that should bring about the turnaround to Shuv. Like in our Moshe with the host. If no host, there is nothing there. Shuv means I'm coming back to myself. Come back to myself, there's nothing there. I can't take anything with me. So either I'm focused on the reality or there's nothing there. That's why I questioned, how can there be a Shuv after this road? And the answer was that, in fact, the Shuv comes after this Rotz. Because when one reaches into the Atzmus, one realizes that what is the Kavonas of Atzmus is in the shuv. But in order to relate to this kavanah, since he now, okay, please follow us. Since now he's identified that his only quest is the atzmus, not the manifestation of atzmus, not the inyonim of atzmus, not the rotzon of atzmus, but atzmus itself. There cannot be a shuv that cancels that out. The shuv has to come after the rotzon. So it's the etzem that he wants. So how can there be a shuv after this etzem? It is that the kavonas of atzmos, and they say, I want what the etzem wants. That's where it comes. The kavonas of atzmos is in the shuv. So therefore, that quest itself to connect and to relate to the etzem puts him back into the shuv mode. But in this shuv mode is not that he's coming to himself. No, there's no self, because etzem and self don't correlate. It's still the etzem, but it's kavonas of etzem. Kavonas of etzem extends itself even in 20% into the world, but it's not him. It is kavonas of etzem, the intent of the etzem. So therefore, when he goes back into the world, what does he see? He doesn't see himself. He sees the kavonas of etzem. And to relate to that, this is mitzvah habitul. What's mitzvah habitul? That, like, this is where he seeks the etzem. How did you know about etzem? Because kavonas of etzem. Who gave him the knowledge and the recognition of etzem? This is mitzad them, because mitzad amidah imotzi nimtzu kohanim tzoi. So his presence is there mitzad o etzem. Therefore, he recognizes that essentially what he really knows is not the etzem, but the kavonas of etzem, because that's what he is. That's why it says when he reaches the etzem, in the etzem is the kavonas of etzem, and that is what puts him back in the shuv. But then it's not mitzad himself, but only mitzad to etzem itself, not le'atzem at all. So the important thing over here is to understand this principle. Etzem does not translate in anything, does not manifest in anything, except that this is etzem. When you say kavonas or etzem, we have to distinguish, this is quite a challenge, between kavonas or etzem and rotzon or etzem. Rotzon can be translated in all kinds of different things, can be manifest. This is what I want. Kavona stays with the etzem. Kavona means the intent, not the word, the intent. So that is what etzem is. So being that here, there is nothing for him to relate to. There's no rotzon. And the whole thing that he has is, the reason he has this kavanah is at the beating. He's not vital himself to the rotzon, to the kavanas or else. Kavanah or else. So how there's nothing remaining, there is no experience in this. How is there a rotzon following this? A rotzon has a personal experience involved. I'm pursuing something, but there's no person. There's no self.
Wow. Isn't the neshama a self?
The neshama, it's at yechida, is not a self.
That part doesn't need to do Rotsu then.
That has to do Rotsu. Rotsu and Rotsu.
the Yechida has to do Ratzu. It's already connected to everything. Like it doesn't need to go anywhere.
The Gila in the Yechida is in the form of a Ratzu. Okay, so now the question, how can it be a Ratzu following the Shuv? What's the problem? This Shuv does not have the ingredient for a Ratzu because there is nothing personal in it. Ratzu means I'm pursuing something, I'm interested. There's no interest. There's only the Kavanah Ayin. That's the question.
Even when he had the initial Ratza,
there's nothing left in it. We have to learn to minimize partaking. It's a limited container. What?
Even the initial Ratza that he had, the initial Ratza that he had, he was he recognized that he was seeking because this was the Kavanah Ha'elyona. In other words, he came from seeking Etzem. He came to Kavanah Etzem because he recognized that his own personal thing was really what was given to him by the Eibishter. It was not a really a personal seeking. It was a seeking that was given to him. So why can't we say that the same thing occurs after the Shuv? In other words, it's not he recognized that his own, whatever is personal is what the Eibishter is giving him. It's not personal. I don't know if that makes sense.
This Indian that is given to him, that serves for him to be able to recognize what the Kavanah is. But he has to recognize what the Kavanah is. Like we said all along this whole discussion. It is not like a harnessed horse that gets pulled by the reins.
He's involved.
He's involved. He recognizes it.
So therefore,
what is the point of what is the point saying that it was given to him? What is the significance of that point? This brings us back to a fundamental principle. There's Chitzenius and Pnimius. The whole world is Chitzenius. How the scientific world, the whole world, how do we know the world? How do we know there is a table over here? By personal experience. I'm interested, I'm pursuing to know what's going around me, and I find it. In other words, it exists because I found it, not because it exists. The whole scientific world is based on this principle.
We don't. Okay, yeah. Okay.
But you found, that's the reality, because you found it, because it affects you. Again, we point all the time, this is Seichel Bahami. Because a behemoth has the same thing, it knows things by reaction. Because a true present doesn't exist. then we have a completely different. We have the Torah principle approach. The first beginning is there is a first being, which is way before my experience totally. Since there's a first being, so everything that exists, as we always say, it's being presented to me by the first being. And I'm seeing it from the perspective of the first being. There's a table. God made a table. There's this. In other words, there's a godliness in everything. That's there is a godly spark in everything. There's a fundamental reality. The reason I see it is because of fundamental, not because I found it, I discovered it. This is a principle. So therefore, when I have this rotzu, and I was given to know the etzem, because I was given to understand, to know the reimamus, and therefore the nefesh pursues the etzem. How am I given to know that there is a kavanah etzem? You understand? It's not something that I project. There's a kavanah. That's not the reality. Where am I given to know about it? This is what we said. But then when he realizes that all that exists is not, I happen to exist. No, but there's a kavanah in that existence. Therefore, I relate to the kavanah rather than in the existence itself. That's when he said that when you reach the etzem, the kavanah, that's where you find the kavanah. Because how can you know the etzem if not for the kavanah? Okay, let's call that a period. So how do we know? How does the shuv follow this kind of beetle where there is no self?
How's the rotzu?
That's right. How's the rotzu follow the shuv when there is no self? Rotzu means I want something. There's a personal interest, a pursuit, but there is no self. So here we go a step deeper, and we say, okay, let's see how much we can come. Ahu inyan hu.
Line is?
Fourth.
At the end of the fourth line. The hine b'ho aveido hanal. You have to understand that in this avoid that we described, the avoid of the shuv, hagam shehi rak lekayim retzon ha'elyin, although that it is exclusively to fulfill the retzon ha'elyin. I want to do it because that's what the Rebbeinu wants. B'li shum dover le'atzmai, without any personal interest for himself. And again, how does a human being come to this type of a state of mind? That's because he originally was seeking etzem, and therefore to relate to etzem, it is to become the Rasul Elyon. Nevertheless, even so, there is still inherently an element of simcha and oineg in this avodah. The whole, where is the simcha and oineg in this? And that is, sheyesh lo tainug mizeh, that he has a tainug from the fact shenasa nachas ruach l'maylo, that there is a nachas ruach l'maylo meho aveido, from his avodah. As the expression in the posik, nachas ruach l'chom, in the Gemara, nachas ruach l'chom. So to put this slightly in perspective, obviously time is up. In everything there is a rotzen and there is oinig. Rotzen and oinig go hand in hand completely. And as I said, there's an equal part there in the same level. There's the rotzen and the oinig. So when he reaches a point, this is the rotzen, this is the kavan, this is what the Rebbe wants, and he takes it up. It's what the Rebbe wants. That's all I want. I want what the Rebbe wants. After he said, the shoot. But inherent in this rotzen ho elyon is the oinig ho elyon. When he connects to the rotzen ho elyon, he connects automatically to the oinig ho elyon. Here is the important point here to understand what we are saying. When he says he's going to do the rotzen ho elyon, please understand this. He's not going to do the rotzen ho elyon because it's advantageous to him to do the rotzen ho elyon. That's completely not what we're talking about. But that he and rotzen ho elyon is one thing. That's all there is. There is only the rotzen ho elyon. He is doing it not because he wants to do the rotzen ho elyon, but because the rotzen ho elyon, he connects to that itself. Because, as we said, we originally wanted only the etzem, so therefore there's a rotzen ho elyon. So, along with that, there is the oinig ho elyon. Just as he connects to the rotzen ho elyon, he connects to the oinig ho elyon. In other words, when we speak about taking on the rotzen ho elyon, we immediately think in terms of Kabbalah Soil. I'll do what you tell me to do. So then you're two separate entities. But this is not what we're talking about. It's not two separate entities. He reflects the rotzen ho elyon because he connected to Etzem. And he is as real the Etzem, he connected to the Etzem, and therefore he reflects the rotzen ho elyon. If he reflects the rotzen ho elyon, he reflects the oinig ho elyon. Just one nakuda, and we'll have it. This is what the Moshe is going to do. We have mitzvahs, and then we have hidur mitzvahs. Hidur mitzvahs is something which we Eden have innovated. There's no such requirement in Shalom. But the Gemara says that there's a big principle that the Rebbe recognizes that ani omarti lehem v'achalto b'sovoto v'rachto. Not only if you sovoto you ate and you be satisfied. And Haim that even if they ate only a kazayis kibeya, he also benches. I didn't even ask him to do that. This thing, this hidur, this extra hidur, this is mitzad, the connection that he didn't have to the oinig ho elyon. They have an oinig in doing rotzen ho elyon. That's what it's called hidur. What's the word hidur mean? Purification. When you come to communication, if you're just doing what you're told, do what you're told. Because just as we connect to the rotzen, we connect to the oinig ho elyon. And this is it for this morning.
Just table this for tomorrow. Why does he need this oinig to be able to engage? Start the ratzah. Why is it enough to say that the kavana l'mayla is this includes ratzah? In other words, the shul.
No. Rotzu is not B'tzad Kavan. Rotzu is the personal interest. That's what Rotzu is.
So he gets affected by this tainug, and this is sort of the...
Because it's a tainug, so therefore he wants more of it.
He wants more of it?
He wants to get into it. He wants to get a grasp on it. That's Rotzu.